Hey guys, welcome to Bastion Time. I am your host, Bastion. This is Nintendo News. Let's get to that news, shall we? First of all, people are ridiculous. Breath of the Wild has been getting some horrendous scores. Not from the critics, not from the actual journalists. I always like to put video game journalists in air quotes because some of their practices are a little... not what I would call journalistic integrity, but anyways, that's a topic for another time. The point is, some random users on Metacritic have been bombing Breath of the Wild, clearly not having played it or purchased it or anything, just calling it terrible names based on nothing whatsoever, just because there are unfortunately people out there who hate Nintendo and thus hate Zelda and think of it as little kids' games and just don't get it. So they're giving it terrible scores without having actually played it. It's pretty sad and pitiful, but if you want to read these insane, ridiculous, stupid comments, there's a link down there for you. So, in case you did not know, as of now, friend codes are a thing on the Switch, something that we've been dreading hearing because nobody likes friend codes. They're long, they're cumbersome. Why not just look up people by their usernames or whatever? I don't know, but Nintendo's always got their own way of doing things. So yeah, friend codes are a thing right now, which means, by the way, that I haven't added anybody as a friend that had a friend code. The only other way right now, as I'm recording this video, to add people as friends is if you've played Super Mario Run with them, which again involves a friend code at some point or other, or if you've played Miitomo. Remember Miitomo? I totally forgot about Miitomo until I saw that that was an option for linking to people, and I never really linked to hardly anybody in Miitomo or Super Mario Run, so those are not active features for me really. But Nintendo says, do not worry, eventually you will be able to link to people through Twitter and Facebook, which is cool, but unfortunately, if you guys didn't know this, it's not easy for people like me to link to other people through things like Facebook, because when you try to log into your Facebook, it wants to log into your actual, like, your real name Facebook, not your, I'm a person behind this group or this band or this movie studio or whatever. Like, I don't know how to make that work. Maybe you guys know and you can tell me in the comments, but it asks for your email address. Well, yeah, that's the email address to log into my personal account, and then it provides you no option to switch to your other type of page. So I can't link to any of you guys. Maybe there's another thing that I'm just not aware of, but basically, long story short is, eventually Twitter will be a thing, so if you want to be my friend on the Switch, this is my trick in getting you to sign up to my Twitter. So that's, of course, at twitter.com/bastiontime. Then we can be friends. That would be cool, right? I don't know. Anyways, eventually it's coming, but it's not here yet. And that, in my opinion, is stupid. Nintendo, nobody wants friend codes. They're dumb. Our next story is a very interesting video that I found fascinating to watch, but I had to stop watching it at one point because then it was getting into gameplay from Breath of the Wild that I didn't want to see yet because I hadn't yet played that part of the game. But in any case, it's from Beta64, I think is the YouTube channel, where originally their whole point was, let's look at original builds of games like Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past and those kinds of things and see how they compare to the released version of the game. And so they did the same thing with Breath of the Wild. They took a look at some trailer footage and then tried to match that up to existing in-game released game footage. And there are quite a few interesting changes. Nothing really mind-blowing. Like, there were a whole lot of changes in Twilight Princess. In case you don't know that whole thing, I suggest looking up that video, but nothing quite like that. But really interesting changes nonetheless. So if you want to take a look at that video, there's a link down there for you. Our next story is it's very unfortunate, and it's about a gentleman who was like 67 years old, I think, who unfortunately had a heart attack while playing Pokemon Go. He caught a rare Pokemon that he was very excited to catch, and then unfortunately that triggered a heart attack somehow, and so then he passed away. So yet another news story about Pokemon Go causing unfortunate incidents that I'm sure lawmakers and government officials and people who just don't understand are going to try to villainize Pokemon Go for, but I mean, he clearly had a heart condition, right? It's not Pokemon Go's fault that some person who clearly had a heart condition, like, he could have gotten excited about anything that he was interested in and had that same incident occur, so it's nothing to do with Pokemon Go. But I just know that there's going to be some ridiculous congressperson or something that's going to try to villainize Pokemon Go and make it seem like it's their fault, but so far that hasn't happened yet, so maybe I'm just being cynical. We'll see. But anyways, if you want to read that really sad story, there's a link down there for you. Our next story is about those skins that you can, they're basically stickers, that you can attach to your Switch to, you know, make it look like a Zelda-specific one or whatnot. I've never used any of these kinds of things from I think they started coming out all the way back. Well, actually, I remember some came all the way back in the NES era to put on your controllers, and I did use those then, but I never tried to remove them. Basically, what I'm trying to get to is, as you can imagine, with any kind of sticker sort of thing going onto a surface, it damages the Switch. So if you are not 100% certain that you want this skin on your Switch forever, do not buy these things and put them on. That's just something that was obvious to me, but I guess it's not obvious to the rest of the world because they're treating it like this big scandal, like, oh my gosh, these skins are damaging the Switch. And it's like, I saw that coming a mile away. That's why I've never purchased any of these kinds of things for any of my consoles, because I like them to look like how they're supposed to look. I don't need to put on silly little stickers, but that's just me. I'm probably just a stick in the mud, but anyways, if you want to read that story, there's a link down there for you. Our next story is about some placeholder dates for the Breath of the Wild DLC. You know, we heard that they were coming in various seasons, but not really any dates. Well, now there are some specific dates. Supposedly, these are just placeholder dates, though, but one of them is the 31st of August, so that's like the tail end of summer, really. It's coming out summer, but that's like the end of summer. So maybe they're just putting that as the placeholder date as a way of being like, we said summer, this is still technically summer. You're not going to get too mad at us, right? And then the other one is on my birthday, which is December 31st. Yes, in case you did not know, my birthday is New Year's Eve. Feel free to remember that and wish me a happy birthday next birthday. But anyways, the point is, these are technically in the range of when they said they would be, but at the tail end of the range. So they're clearly providing themselves with an ample amount of time to finish up these DLC packs and get them out. You know, you might remember a couple videos ago where I babbled about how I wasn't sure I was so into the DLC thing. Now that I'm firmly entrenched in Breath of the Wild, I'm gonna get the DLC. I'm sure, maybe not the first two packs I'm so interested in, but the one that has the additional story and that kind of stuff, I'm totally in for, because I can just imagine that after I finish this game, I'm gonna be like, I want more! And I'm sure we all are. But anyways, it's gonna be interesting, and now we have some supposed placeholder dates, so we know when's the latest to expect these packs by, I assume. Anyways, that is it for this episode of Nintendo News. See you guys in tomorrow, I guess, for some more news. Bye, guys.